So we are live for show number 120. We have a full house tonight with both of the lovely ladies, Renikia and Adria. And so before we turn it over to Adria, I just wanted to make sure that we all wished her a belated happy birthday.
Oh,
And
that's so sweet.
so,
That's so sweet.
hey, so you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All
We're
right,
good now.
all right, all right, all right. You can see our
Happy birthday, Adrian.
Thank you.
okay, so we got her in here. So now she good and we can get ready to rock. Y'all see y'all will see I got some new toys here and you will be looking at them. So over to you, AP.
Well, gosh, you've made this so very easy. I don't have to stall and wait for you to fiddle faddle. So we're just gonna jump right on into this thing. Welcome, guys. Thursday, November 21st. Rounding out this year of 2019, 2020 is coming up quick, but thank you for joining us, Ty, Renikia, and myself. This is the place where you have the opportunity to ask questions in regards to wholesaling. You ask the questions, I read the questions, they answer the questions. That's pretty much how this thing works. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram.
And Periscope.
And Periscope, whatever that is. That's the thing. So without further ado, let's get this thing going. Renikia, how have you been?
I've been great. How are you all?
I'm good. It's getting cold. It's UGG season. We slowly approaching UGG season.
Yes.
Guys, if you're not aware, the beautiful Miss Renikia is available across all social media platforms. She is the CEO of a financial company that can most definitely take your wholesaling game to the very next level. When you're talking about flipping, we're talking about buying whole. Funding, she can provide for you if you qualify. You got to have that credit score up, y'all. But on your screen there, you can reach her by fundmynextdeal.com. Again, on your screen, for those on Instagram, you can't see it. It's fundmynextdeal.com. And Renikia Williams. Yes, you see that? Plug me.
Good Lord. I think it. Wow. Okay.
She is available across all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and emailing her at funding@fkfinancials.com. But I'm going to stop talking a little bit and let her tell you a little bit, because she can tell you better than I can, about her company. So what is it that your company does, and how can it help some of our subscribers?
Thank you. Thank you so much. As always, it's such a pleasure to be a part of the Flippinar show. And our focus is, one of our main mottos is nothing moves before the money. So sometimes you have to have a little money in place to get to just scale to the next level. Although we do teach how to buy and sell real estate with absolutely no money or little to any money out of pocket. But if you did want to take advantage of investing into real estate and building portfolios for long-term generational wealth, and to be able to begin to build generational wealth through investing in real estate, you want to begin to take advantage of your credit. So we have different creative options and creative programs to help you take advantage of your credit. One of them is we help you to leverage your credit to receive up to $150,000 unsecured credit. So you can use it to offset some of the expenses, marketing, down payment money, and things of that nature to take your business to the next level. So.
All right, guys, there you have it. So, without further ado, tying his toys. You can see him over there grinning.
He got these toys.
I've been waiting for this
Wow.
morning. My graphics guy sent this over this morning. I've been excited all day.
Yeah, so you see him flipping the little thumbnails on your screen there. Tap the bell to turn on notifications. And as it says there, you post the questions in the comments of any YouTube video and he will answer. So let's get started. First question is from Nicholas. And watch this, guys. Watch. Wait for it. Bam! There it is. It's right there on the screen. Question is right there. So if I can't read it right, y'all say y'all can't hear me. It's on the screen. No excuses now. Okay. So Nicholas from Jacksonville, North Carolina wants to know, have y'all heard of REI crowdfunding? And if so, what are y'all's thoughts on it? Thanks.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of different sources out there. Actually, crowdfunding came up where when Obama was in office, where he opened up. It was at one point in time where you could not pool your money together unless you was an accredited investor. Now, crowdfunding opened up to individuals that are not accredited investor. You don't have to have $1 million net worth and $250,000 liquid. You can actually pull your money together with just $500 a piece. So yes, it is a great way to raise money. It is paperwork to create the fund and things of that nature. And you have to really abide by the rules, because SEC don't play if you do, try to do something crazy within the fund. But it is a great way in a strategy and a tool to accumulate money so you can go out there and invest in real estate.
All right, there you have it, Nicholas. Hopefully that answers your question. The next one is going to be from Julian Chavez. If a house has high equity, how do I determine the ARV?
I think they may be confused on equity, or either concerned on either confused on the value of the property or equity. And well, obviously they're confused on equity. Equity, that's what you want, is high equity. That's where the money is. What the house is worth and what's owed on it. That's the equity. If the house is worth the ARV, which is what the house will appraise for in excellent condition, the way we have to view it. If it's $100,000 and they owe $90,000, there's only $10,000 in equity. But if they only owe $20,000 with mortgage, taxes, whatever, then there's $80,000 in equity. That's considered high equity.
Okay. Hopefully that helps you out, Julian. So I guess as Red Sox fan says on here, equity has nothing to do with the ARV.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
Well, equity is part of the ARV.
Yeah, they're related. They're definitely related. Yeah.
All right. So Naira Denson says, we normally use the 70% of the ARV formula, but how do we determine if other areas are buying at a different percentage? Does it matter?
That's a good question. I think it's just standard across boards. I mean, you may find some that may go up to 75, 80%, but I think 70% is pretty average and standard across boards. You think so?
And a lot of times you'll just be able to tell by how competitive people are at your properties. If you're in an area in your market and you put it out there, however you're going to market it, and you just get bombarded, that a lot of times that tell you, even if you're at the 70%, according to your numbers, that'll let you know how attractive it is. And sometimes they'll bid it up. They'll want to pay more or whatever. So that'll let you know that you can get away with a little more just on the actual demand on properties that you put out there. And you're putting them out there at around 70%. And when obviously when you're including repairs or whatever in that amount. So.
Okay. Jumping right on into our next question. We'll go with oh wow. Red Sox fan. Over here. I lost my train of thought. Okay.
Still paying attention.
Oh wow.
I can play with it all day. I'm just now playing with it. Okay. Whoa. Okay. I have flipped homes before and now want to wholesale. How do I tell a property owner I am buying their home, yet really not buying their home without pissing them off? His words, not mine. It's on the screen.
That's a good question. I think we try to separate wholesaler from being something different than just being an investor. So, per se, I would never introduce myself as a wholesaler. I will always introduce myself as a real estate investor. And I will always look at it as myself and my team is purchasing this property. So always say we, because really that's what it is. It's not necessarily you, but it's someone on your team or your end buyer who can be looked apart as part of, you know, your team will bring the money to the table. So technically you will bring the money to the table. It just will be someone a part of your team. So I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a wholesaler. Look at yourself as a real estate investor.
Oh,
and I know Tom.
You got it. That sounds good to me.
concur. Isaiah Toussaint wants to know, how do you go about getting comps on a fourplex if there are no others in the area?
Good question.
Well, a lot of times that's an income producing property. Is just shy of being a multifamily property. Well, commercial property. So it is multifamily. It's just one unit shy of being considered commercial. But at the end of the day, you can look for comps or light properties. A lot of times, if that area is not has a considerable amount of multifamily property, for a 4-unit buildings, you're going to go back to the way most investors look at income producing property. They're just going to look at the income that it's bringing in, the expenses that are going out, and come up with either cash on cash or return on investment or a cap rate, which are somewhat all related. So it's just going to really be both based on that, So what's the gross income? What are the gross expenses per year, right? And from there, based on the price, you'll be able to come up with a cash cap rate and or cash on cash. And so a lot of times, anytime you can get double digits, depending on the area, that's normally going to be attractive. Now, the more, I guess, a D area, D as in dog, you probably have to get in the higher double digits versus in a C, B, and definitely an A area. So, and then it's just going to depend on the market,
Okay, let's flip over to Instagram. And this is a question from Biological Son. He was negotiating one property originally. However, I'm assuming the seller let him know of 5 others that he is motivated to sell as a package. 3 properties could be profitable. Should I do separate contracts? So when you have a seller that has multiple properties, do you do multiple contracts? Wouldn't you, considering that you might have multiple buyers?
Right. Technically, each parcel needs its own contract.
Mm-hmm.
So especially those properties are not adjacent to one another. Even if they are adjacent to one another, they're individually parceled out. So technically you do want to have a contract per property. And especially like Adrian point, most likely you may sell them out individually as well.
Yeah, it would be well, let's just say this. It'll work either way if you got separate contracts, whether you sell them to one person or 5 different people, however many properties it is. Separate contracts will still work. But if you had them all on one contract and you can't find one buyer for it, then that won't work. So when it's separate contracts, you can still sell all of them to one person. And obviously, if it's separate contracts, you can sell to separate people. So.
All right. Still on Instagram, Stockholder says, hey, Ty, if they wholesale numbers don't work for you, do you look to do a subject to or other creative options, or should you just pass if you're a newbie? So when the wholesaling numbers don't work, we talk all the time about the numbers don't lie. So the numbers, they're not working out.
Well, you can always, well, not always, let me say this. If you're open to creative financing, such as subject to or lease options, then yeah, that's going to present more opportunity. That's just going to be what you want to deal with, because it is a different animal when you get into that game versus just a straight wholesale deal. Now you can also wholesale those also by setting. That would be you can wholesale those terms out also by just setting them up. So I personally have done them over the years. Started kicking myself for not doing more. 17 years, I can only imagine the properties I could have accumulated in that time frame. But I was always thinking in terms of me personally dealing with it. And I know I would have to turn it over to someone to manage that for me, because I show up to collect my rent. They hadn't paid in 2 months, baby screaming, crying, I ain't got no money. I'm falling for that game. You know what I'm saying? So, I would have to remove myself because I'm too kind. I'm too, I'm the sucker, whatever you want to call it, whatever. So I would have to remove myself. Absolutely. From that side of it, let somebody just manage it. They don't even know I own it. You know what I'm saying? So let a real gator handle.
Right, you gotta be a real gator to put somebody out, single mother with kids. You gotta be a real gator.
Oh yeah.
That's okay. I got it. I got my pen. Amen.
See, there's a gate over here. See what doing. Ain't no
agent to do it.
They out of there.
Hey, you got it or not. You got it or not.
Hey, she would be perfect for a management company. Lord have mercy.
Okay, so Joshua Bush says, once the seller signs the purchase agreement, do you turn it into a title company or wait until you have a contract with the buyer?
That's a really good question. I personally will wait until you have it all together. But if you feel very strong about, I know this is going to fly really quickly, you could possibly get started, but just know that you're accumulating an expense regardless if you close that or not. So I personally like to confirm that my end buyer is in place before I begin to just accumulate expenses for a property that I don't know if I'm a seller or not.
Okay. Hair by Naya wants to know, which would generate more leads, 200 plus bandit signs or 500 postcards from REI printing, such as mail to flip?
Well, to answer that question, bandit signs are going to produce more leads than 500 postcards in most cases, especially if they stay up a considerable amount of time. You have to understand that the response rate on direct mail, just period, is anywhere from 0.5% to 2%. So if we'll just use 1% of 500, that's only like 5 leads. You know what I'm saying? So there you go. Or whatever.
Right.
So but it's a different type of marketing. Now, I'm not saying one is better than the other. You have to understand that some people that won't ever respond to bandit signs will respond to direct mail and vice versa. So it's best that you have a combination of things going whenever you can get, as soon as you can get to that point. You want to have as many marketing methods in play as possible.
Okay. Ty, this question is specifically for you. And Miss Cheryl Burton, where have you been? She says, Mr. Ty, how will the dynamics of you answering questions change now that you have a paid course? Now, I'm just going to say, wow, guys, the info, the knowledge, the tools that's already out there is more than enough for that paid course. But what's your answer?
Well, she didn't know I had a paid course.
That's why I'm saying.
What's her name? Cheryl. Oh, Cheryl, it's right there on the screen.
Right there on the screen.
Cheryl Burton. You have to remember about me. I'm an entrepreneur first. But as I was mentioning before about being a landlord and dealing directly with tenants, I would like to think, that I'm a really nice person on top of that. So I put out the free information ever since I've been putting out this free information, August of 2008. You don't hear me promoting my courses and stuff a lot if you watch most of my videos, but I do promote that that's an option. Everything you need to know is in these free videos, and what we do here on Thursday nights, pretty much out of 52 weeks in a year, we probably hear at least I would say probably 45 of them.
45.
Yeah, about 45 of them at least. You know, we'll say 40.
No, I'm 40.
Yeah.
You're 40.
Top 45 all day.
And so anyway, so everything is so it's not going. There's nothing changed. It's just you're probably referring to the free master class. It was just basically what happened there. Some guys reached out to me that are internet marketers. They're really good at what they do. I didn't have to spend any money to put it together, you know, and I was impressed with what they put together. So it just was a different option for people that can't afford, you know, the coaching, unlimited coaching or whatever, just a different option. But at the end of the day, as you can tell, I like eating. And this is one of my sources of income. You know, I don't hide that, you know. I had to start taking this stuff serious about 3.5 years ago, whereas before it may pay a cell phone bill, you know, get somebody hair done or nails done or whatever.
No, you ain't doing that. You ain't got no type of bills, do you?
I'm just
Adrian.
But anyway, so so when it just started to change, you know, so I had to start taking. That's why you see me and trying to improve this show every chance I get. I bought a lot of equipment and stuff, and you see the little banners I paid for and stuff or whatever to promote how to get more information free. So it really hadn't changed. Nothing would change. I'm still going to be providing free video. I just uploaded one, what was that, 2 days ago with the lady, with Stacy out of Atlanta and storage or whatever. She has the South Atlanta Real Group. Are you Yeah. Yes. Your name is Stacy. Yeah. She I did an interview with her on Tuesday. I uploaded Tuesday, I think. So the free information will still come, baby girl. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I mentioned that I offer courses a lot because I've mentioned it in a lot of the videos. Eventually, you'll find out, you know what I'm saying? People that know that reached out to me by text, how I, you know, do. They ask questions, I send them right back to YouTube. Feel free to ask your questions in the comment section in the YouTube video, because you can help others and I can help you at the same time. That's just a standard message that I send out. So I hope I didn't ramble on, but hopefully I answered our question also.
Yeah, that's what I hit it too. I want you to answer it. If nothing changes,
Nothing changed, baby girl.
Jay White, who are you? Quick question. As far as telling the seller you need to bring other investors, aka an end buyer, over to see the house, how can I state that to the seller and also get a key? He thanks us in advance. We need access. We need some keys.
That's a good question. I used to always blame it on the fact that, hey, I got to get my general contractor team in here, my plumbers and engineers in here to take a look at it to assess the repairs. And I always kind of disguise it as my GC team if I have that issue.
Yeah.
How about you?
Okay. Sorry. Let's get that down. On Instagram, Tito Bro, if you are starting out and have a fear of rejection with cold calling, but you have the money for a VA, would you recommend doing that?
Boom, most definitely.
I mean,
yeah.
If you can say, let's work off your, you know, if you could outsource. Now, you know, outsourcing is always great. It frees up your time to do other things. But just you want to make sure that the person you're outsourcing it to is you know looking to get results as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question from Instagram. Do you think the market is going to make a correction in the near future? With that being said, what is the best advice for a wholesaler facing the upcoming market? What's going to happen?
Well, you're asking us to predict the future. You know, at the end of the day, there'll still be real estate opportunities. You just adjust with the market. Unless they're going to make houses free in this next whatever going to happen, there's going to be opportunities. You know, it just will be. I didn't know that years ago when I got started because I started before the quote unquote subprime lending crash. mortgage lending. All I knew was I was making more money each year, and then it just all went away. But I didn't have sense enough to know I need to been saving my money. Number one, number two, there's still opportunities out there. I was just like some woman had quit me, and I didn't want to deal with it no more. I was pissed at it, so I still was kicking around a little bit, but I got into some other stuff actually. So, but there's still tons of opportunities out there, but you just adjust with the market. Again, as long as houses are not free, there will be opportunities and plenty of them. You just have to adjust.
I like the way you say that. Regardless if the market's going up, you can make money, and you can make money in the downtime.
Okay, so let's see here. Marcus Wells, how can you get info on when the state makes a decision on a delinquent land tax sale?
Probably go down to the county.
Yeah, it's public information. You go down and speak to someone at the county, they'll give you all those dates and how that process works. It's public information. And each state is different, so.
Okay. I think this is a really good question. It's from Troy Harrison on YouTube. He states that it's harder to get a deal for him, it seems, with a LLC or an S Corp. I think that's where I'm having trouble. Can you give me some advice? So when you're pulling up a property and the owner is listed as an individual versus an LLC or vice versa, do you handle them any different? See, I hate these questions up here. Renika, you got to read them again first.
No, absolutely. I'm reading and listening at the same time. But I'm trying to figure out, is he saying that he has an LLC?
No.
Or is the property having it?
When the property is listed, that's what I'm assuming he's saying. When the property is listed in an LLC, he's having a hard time getting, I guess, dealing with those type of deals. That's going to be common for most people. Number one, they may be hard to reach or whatever, number one. And generally speaking, not all, at the end of the day, it's still people behind those entities, right? But generally speaking, they're normally going to be a little bit more savvier, and they're going to probably actually be real investors that have a number of properties or whatever, or at least starting out. They're just going to be a little different than dealing with someone that just has their name on it or whatever. It just did not say you still can't do deals with it. It's just a numbers game, like we always say, like Renika always says. It's just going to, in my experience, just a little bit more difficult dealing with those type of individuals versus someone that just simply has a property in their name.
No, I agree. They're most likely more savvier. People that purchase properties in the LLC, they're just most likely more savvier than an individual. But all you can do is send out some postcards or yellow letters, asking them to give you a call or try to figure out if that LLC is listed somewhere where you have a phone number to contact someone and see if you can find a decision maker who can make a decision based on that property. But I wouldn't put a lot of apples into it. I mean, all you can do is just try to find them.
Okay. On Instagram, JC the Flipper wants to know, what does it mean when a house is in pre-foreclosure and there's a notice of trustee sale? Can you still wholesale a property like that?
That's a really great question. So when a home is in pre-foreclosure, it's basically saying that this person is almost 3 months or is 3 months behind on their mortgage and is soon to be foreclosed on at an auction or county sale where someone can purchase it. When someone purchases it, it's completely foreclosed on. Prior to the foreclosure, prior to someone purchasing it, it's a pre-foreclosure.
Okay. Candia, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. She's one of our faithful watchers of Flipman on Thursdays. Or maybe I haven't been in a while. One of us ain't been here, Candia. I'm going to say it's you. I'm still on my 40 shows for the year. Okay, so she said interest in purchasing a condo where the couple is divorced and out of state. The husband is missing in action and the wife wants to quit claim her interest. Would it be a wise
wow.
move to be on deed with the hubby?
Oh,
That's messy. That's messy. She's trying to click claim her part, keep him on the deal. Now you still have to deal with him. That could be a very messy situation.
Is she just gonna, I guess. What's her name?
That was Candia.
Candia. I guess the question is she just gonna quit claim it over to you? What you don't have to spend any money?
She want out. Sis gone. She ready.
But you would still have to deal with the husband.
Yeah, I know, but you're 50% of the way there.
He's 50% of the way there now. You're trying to get rid of him by all means.
If it's not going to cost you anything, I would probably pull tight on it. You know what I'm saying? And just. But
the key word, she says, sell her interest.
Oh, she did say that, didn't she?
She wants something for her interest.
Okay. So I guess it's going to boil down to risk and reward. How much is she going to cost to sell her interest or whatever? So
it's risky, but if you do decide to do it, like Ty said, pull title to just make sure it's not clouded liens and things like that is on the title.
All right, on YouTube, Julian Chavez. Yes, I did answer your question. Well, I didn't answer it. Renika answered your question. I do believe your question was the first one of tonight's show. So when we end, you're more than welcome to rewind, play it back, and catch that answer in regards to the high equity. JC the Flipper on Instagram. You did ask a question. I asked it for you. I think maybe your answer was a little delayed. And James Assy 2001. Man, I just realized what I said. Anyway, on Instagram, repost your question. I have to refresh it, so it disappeared for me. So going with biological son, how do we verify if a lot is big enough for a development? I have another lead selling a lot. However, it is a bit more narrow than the other row houses. We want to verify if a house can be built on it. Where would you find that information?
I will get my GC team out there.
Should be zoning board too. Zoning, right?
Okay.
Right.
What's it? GC.
I mean, if it
contractor.
Yeah.
Yay! I win.
Yeah, that's what it means.
See, I'm learning. I learned just like you guys.
And then you got it. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You want to get with the zoning survey. You want to determine the setbacks to determine where can you build and determine the setbacks as well.
All right. YouTube, Daquan wants to know, when wholesaling, does setting up an escrow account on the property assure that the property owner and buyer doesn't cut you out the deal completely? If not, can you elaborate, please? And thank you. So what exactly is the purpose of setting up an escrow account?
Go ahead.
You can go, Tom. Right. Well, I will start, I guess. An escrow account, you don't set up an escrow account. Most likely your attorney will have the escrow account. So nothing ensures that the buyer or the seller are going to cut you out of the deal. Nothing really ensures that outside of your contracts. However, you won't set up an escrow account. You would just get with an attorney, submit your contracts to the attorney, and they will pretty much require that all the funds be wired to that escrow account. Now you can take it a step further and maybe file your contract on the property record. So if you do try to sell behind your back, they have to clear that pretty much that cloud on the title. That could somewhat protect you. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah. If you're like, if you're concerned about your deal being taken from you, the escrow part of that's not going to prevent that. And in reality, you want to wait on the buyer anyway, in my opinion, on that. You want to, I guess you can record a memorandum of contract if you're that concerned about someone stealing your deal or whatever. So.
Okay. James' question from Instagram was, do you have a good intro when you're cold calling other than saying you're an investor?
Yeah, I think we spoke about that last.
Yeah.
Oh,
And Ty did a perfect one.
Yeah.
Last week.
Yeah, I referenced Max Maxwell. I heard someone told me, which sounds good to me too. So it's like you start the conversation off. Hey, I know this is out of the blue, but I'm calling to speak with the owner about buying their property at 123 Main Street. So just off the top, you let them know what you want. You know, if someone's interested, they're gonna be like, yeah, you reached the right person, or you know, hey, you reached the right person, don't call me anymore, or you got the wrong number, or whatever the situation is. I think that gets right to it. They're gonna probably say, well, who are you? And you let them know, hey, I'm with Donnie James LLC. When we buy houses in the area and we're looking to buy at least 2 more houses, you know, the next 30 days in your general area. So where your house is located. And if they're interested, you just go from there or whatever. So just be prepared for them to ask you, who are you? You know what I'm saying? So that's when you may want to come out with your company name and you're a local investor and, you know, your intent is to buy a house quickly, you know, to try to put at least in their mind that, hey, I'm going to be able to get some money fast, you know, so.
Yeah.
That opening is the hard part. Once you get past that and they want to continue a conversation, then it's basically just collecting information and either the numbers work or they don't. You know, so.
Okay. All About Business 77 on YouTube wants to know, why wouldn't a realtor accept hard money and their POF? Isn't that just as good as cash?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm not sure why they wouldn't. I'm not sure what clown you're dealing with. That's money for them. Why wouldn't they?
Right. That's weird.
I
mean, it is a POF.
Yeah. Well. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Shy City Dinero wants to know, is it worth suing a seller that backed out of a contract within 30 days and then turned around and put it under contract on MLS? So
They backed out within 30 days.
Does it boil down to how good of a deal was it? How much money you were going to make? Or is it you just move on? There's more deals out there. You're going to waste more time and effort on that.
I mean, honestly, if the seller can get out the contract legally, he can turn around and put it on MLS and do what he want to do with his property, or she. So as long as I think the exit of the contract was legal, he didn't do anything, or, you know, try to put it in a contract with someone else at the same time and have it in a contract with you or something of that nature. But if he legally got out of your contract, which is possible, he can turn around tomorrow and sell it to whoever he wants to sell it to. My opinion.
Yeah, you can't make somebody come to closing at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying?
Property. You can't make someone sell it. It's property.
Hey, just like sometimes you're gonna back out of contracts or whatever. You know, that's the game or whatever. Now, if you think something like she said, somebody got you on the contract and somebody else on the contract, that's different. But in this situation, they dealing with a realtor. You don't even want to get into that ball of wax of dealing with the board of realtors, whatever state, because they're going to stand on the side of the seller, right? You know what I'm saying? They're going, not that they're going to represent them. I'm just saying that they're going to look better than you in court in most. It just ain't going to be. I can just tell you already. Unless you got money to spend, because there's going to be some lawyers out there that going to take your money. Then, you know, it's just too many deals out there. Just
right.
It was going to probably be hard to get them to the closing table anyway. They made it, and the way I look at something like that, you know, I know each situation is different. They made it easy for me not to waste my time because they were already with some game off the top, you know. So,
I mean, all you can do is just try to help him understand that you can give him a lot less than him putting it on the market with the realtor, because it's going to be a little bit more out of pocket when he's dealing with a realtor.
Yeah.
So you can kind of convince him that your contractor, your contract is better than dealing with the realtor, but it's still up to him or her to make that decision.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I know we often lead with, that's a really good question, with most of these really good questions, but this is a really good question. It's a really good question. And it's from Spacky D82. And his question is, or hers, how do I handle working a 9-to-4 job with bandit sign leads coming in during that time? Now, I say that's a really good question.
That is a really good
it's
question.
a really good question because I am nowhere near as active in this thing as I should. I have my own personal little mentor guru and my beautiful guru that I have access to, and I don't do a thing. But at the end of the day, I still have bandit signs out there. And I'll be sitting at work and my phone says, "We buy houses," and I know that's my Google Voice number, a call coming in, and I'm swiping left. Man, I'm on the floor. I can't answer the call. Are you kidding me? And so I think for the most part, you're going to have to come up with the system. Like, you're either going to have to forward that call, you're going to have a heck of a good voicemail. You're going to have some type of way to come back and remember, oh man, somebody called me today. I need to call them back. So I think this is a wonderful question for those who are trying to do this on your own without a squad or a team. But you got these calls coming in and you know you can't answer them because you're on somebody else's time and not on your time.
Right.
Money right then. So tell me what I do.
That's one of the good problems. That's what I call one of them good problems.
I forward my calls. I try.
That's one of those good problems. But technology makes this so easy. Like I use the service Vumber.com, right? You don't have to use that, but just using that as an example, even if it was Google Voice and it's free. It has caller ID on it. You know, they call that number about a house. So you get off at 4 o'clock. At 4:05, I'm starting to call people back. You have a lunch break. You have a 15-minute. I'm assuming they're not driving you like that where you don't have some breaks. Because when I started this, I had a job. I was up there. I one of my friends was laughing at me, and I used to. Hey, I have my own office up there. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yes. I was sending faxes from the job and everything.
I had my own office up there. I was printing out, making flyers. I do 1,000 flyers on they print. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I was
yes, straight Gator. I'm telling you. You gotta be Gator.
Just make it happen. But again, but everybody's job now, you might not be in an office setting or whatever. You may be in a warehouse or something. I don't know. So you may not have those opportunities like that. I was just joking about. But I'm serious. I was doing it. But at 4:05, I'm calling everybody back. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So that you got caller ID. Some people you have a good voicemail. Short and sweet on what you do or whatever. And some people leave a message. Some people will text you, right? You know what I'm saying? And then some people won't do anything, but I'm calling all of them back regardless, and we go from there. You just hope they have moved on to the next person. You're going to lose some or whatever, but the whole goal is going to, one of my favorites said, enough, most won't, but enough will. And you only need a few of them that will, so you don't have to do that 9 to 4 anymore. So technology.
No, absolutely. I totally agree. I did the same thing. It's transitioning. We have to understand it's power in using your job to fund your dream. So understand that. Use your job to fund your dream, but it's a transition period. I remember when I was working a job full time, and I decided to request that I wanted to work 7 to 2 instead of 9 to 5 or 10 to 5. So I got off early so I could run my business at the end. But on top of that, every time I took a 10 to 15-minute break, I was calling people back. On my lunch break, I went to show houses and did things on my lunch break. You have to take those times in the middle of your breaks and make those phone calls. Technology is really good. If someone call you, you can almost send a text message to them immediately, and they can say, hey, I'm in a meeting right now, or I'm not available right now. Please text me, or I'll give you a call back at my earliest convenience. So, utilize as much as you can, But most importantly, utilize that time after you do get off work to work on your business.
I'm gonna make y'all laugh.
And I was Gator. I'm telling you, I was Gator. I got fired because I was running my business. But that's how much, and that's a God honest truth. I got fired. But let me tell you something. I walked out there on the red carpet. I was like, y'all did me a justice. Firing me, because sometimes it's hard for us to take that first step. When when you know that you know what you know, and you know your business is going good, it's still hard to take that first step, leave your job. But sometimes that door shut, you're back against the wall.
Hey,
you have no choice but doing.
Hey, baby.
I got straight fired. I'm telling you.
Hey, girl, they got fired.
I walked in late from lunch with my lunch.
Ooh, boy, that's
I have bad stories behind that. Like, yes. But that's how bad I wanted it.
It goes to the beautiful Miss Renikia Williams. She is the recipient of our Gator Award of November. But we have a very, very close runner-up, the Baby Gator Award. The Baby Gator Award goes to biological son on Instagram. He says, basically, he tells his boss he has IBS because he goes to the bathroom every 30 minutes to handle business.
Right. Ooh, that's good. Absolutely.
Excuse me, I gotta go to the bathroom. Pot again.
Yeah.
Gotta go.
Don't let your job stop your dream.
It's just the springboard. That's it.
Yes, that's it.
Funding.
Use it as a bridge.
Like you say, funding your dream.
Fund your dream.
All right, guys. Back to the questions. Seriously, the answers were making you laugh, but the answers were very sincere and serious. Like, you make time for what you want. So you're gonna have to make time to respond to those calls. Now, Ryan Ashford wants to know, can you put a fourplex under contract like a single family unit, and how? He really needs to know because he has a deal he's trying to put under contract right now. He's posted this question like 15 times. And so please answer it. I'm sorry, Ryan. I got you in there, Ryan. So how you put it
absolutely
under contract?
Use the same contract.
There you go. Go get that deal. Go get it. Same.
No, somewhere in the steps you may want to say unit A, B, C, D. You want to spell out the units. So because a lot of times multifamily is one address, but each address has a different unit number. So put your address there and make sure you spell out your units too.
Okay, there you have it. Just specify that it's 4 individual units on that contract. Let's see here. Y'all are so funny. This is absolutely free. Let's see here. Then let's go to Chris, and this is on Instagram. When there is no capital for bandit signs or pulling lists, what's the best way to get a JV deal, and at what numbers? So I don't know if they're speaking specifically about you guys, or just what do you do when you don't have the money for a bandit signs or to purchase lists? So we're going to go with driving for dollars. Always is you're driving to work, maybe, I'm thinking. So what else?
Yeah.
When you don't
you have no money?
Or put Renikia Hush.
I heard that, right?
or pulling lists. Yes. So we're saying real deal zero. Okay.
All right. Well, when you say zero, do you have gas money? Do you have a car? We got to establish that too.
Okay.
Right. You have Wi-Fi.
We're just gonna
internet.
We're living a real frugal life. Like, every coin has a destination. So that's why we're in this business. That's why we're educating ourselves. So let's real deal go zero.
Right. I would say one thing that could be very cost effective: partner with another wholesaler and sell their properties. But now you have to do marketing to find buyers, and you can do marketing for free online. Yeah. So that could be one option.
Yeah, don't sleep on networking in Facebook groups, real estate Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups. I don't know how much on Instagram, but you have specified groups for Facebook and LinkedIn that are normally local, and then some of them are national, whatever. You can create a lot of activity in those groups. Don't sleep on those. And then, like she says, reaching out, just trying to wholesale other wholesalers deals. You know what I'm saying? That won't cost you anything or whatever. So, you know, it won't take one deal to be able to start your own marketing.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, Sean Ware on YouTube wants to know, do you have the seller sign the contract on DocuSign or sign the contract at the time of viewing their property?
Technology.
Yeah. DocuSign.
No right or wrong?
Ain't no right or wrong. Cause I had a lady, before the show started, I shipped off a contract to another state, you know, before I came in here. You know what I'm saying? So I sent it to a DocuSign. She's like, Mr. Taylor, I really prefer to get a hard copy. I ain't did that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But hey.
You know what I found the other day?
What?
I had to bring it.
Okay.
Yeah, seriously. I was cleaning out my room at my mama's house. That just goes to show how old. I found my first check.
Really? A copy of it, you mean?
Yes.
Oh, I mean the check.
From wholesaling or from your first job?
I would have been broke that up. No, my first check from wholesaling.
Okay.
Pollard, the two white houses.
Okay.
Over there in East Birmingham. Address on. Yes, I remember. I was so I even found out my own contract where I had the 3 carbon copies, the original, the pink and the yellow.
Yeah.
You take a copy.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's old school though. I still them videos.
In my original postcards. Prince R.E.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's what's up.
And I still ain't done that. Okay, so next.
But no, there's no wrong to write it. I mean, whatever they prefer. Honestly, I'm a DocuSigner, but hey.
Oh yeah, I love it. YouTube DocuSign is a beautiful service. It's not the only one, you know, but you know, that's the one I like. Pretty simple.
Okay, so this is a question from YouTube from Abdul. How can I make an offer over the phone? I don't.
That's a good question. Now, if you don't know that,
that is a good question. Just make it. Just make it.
Just never mind.
Well, I guess what he may mean is, how can I offer on something I haven't seen? That may be what he means. Right. I'm assuming that's what he means.
Okay.
Easy. You're gonna talk with them. Now, sometimes sellers are gonna undersell their property, and it may be in a lot better condition than they think, but most of the time they're gonna tell you it's in better condition than it really is. All right. So the easy thing you could do, because you need to try to come up with you need to come up with your ARV. And you don't have to do that over the phone on that first conversation. You can always tell them you're going to call them back. It only should take 5 to 10 minutes to figure that out. Take the square footage. If it sounds like it's livable, $25 a square foot. If it doesn't, if it's not livable, $40 a square foot. Now, that's not set in stone, because once you get into higher end markets, you know, a countertop in one neighborhood ain't gonna be the same in the other neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? But generally speaking, here, we just ballparking or whatever. But you could definitely make offers on the phone. Most of mine are done that way. It's rare I go out and look at one that we don't have an idea of a price that'll work, or at least close. Need to be close. I'll put it like this: the ARV is 150, and they want 130. Probably not going to be worth my time. But if we're at 150 and they're talking, we'll just say 90, it's probably still not cheap enough, but we're in the ballpark, and I can go out there and take a look, and then we can negotiate down to something that works or whatever. So, but yes, definitely.
Right. I mean, honestly, once you know your numbers, you can make an offer on the phone, wherever you know. Once you know your numbers, yeah. But I wouldn't make an offer before I know my numbers.
Yeah.
Okay. So someone just said, don't forget about your Facebook users. The way this
not the Facebook users.
No. It works. I'm saying YouTube for everything because of the way it's set up, but technically this is everybody. This is everything.
Everybody, yeah.
So I'm just saying YouTube because I'm so used to YouTube looking like this. But this is just questions.
Oh, ain't no Facebook been asking?
Yes, but I've been asking them too.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
I just happened to say YouTube.
Oh yeah, because there's a
this is
Facebook right here. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Mhm.
Okay, it just don't have their name. Oh, probably coming from the wholesale and private group. That's why they name it.
I don't know, but you know, your folks be getting me right. They be getting me together. So
okay,
guys, Lord. Okay, so from Facebook,
Lord.
what would be the best method for skip tracing a probate list obtained from the courthouse? The best method to get in contact with probate leads. So what are we gonna do with this list we just got from the courthouse?
I mean, skip tracing is the method. So skip tracing is basically you are seeking contact information about the homeowners. So skip tracing is the method. So once you skip trace them, you should be able to find some type of contact information to the heirs, the beneficiaries who owns the property, who could possibly make decisions on selling the property.
Okay. You got any input?
No, that's super. That's good.
Okay. So from Facebook, Manuel Rodriguez wants to know, well, actually says there's a property that looks like it's abandoned. The homeowner is dead. He located her daughter. The property was already sold. The tax assessor paper shows the property is still in her deceased mother's name. What can I do to get this property? So obviously Manuel has done a little research, and with property that she doesn't even know she owns, sounds like it might be a good deal.
Right.
Obviously, she's
sometimes honestly, it takes about 3 to 6 months for those deeds to be recorded. So I would determine when it was recorded. But you're probably going to have to go down to the county and pull the title. But yeah, I mean, all you can do is pull the title. The title should tell you who owns the property currently, unless someone haven't filed the paperwork of the sale. What do you think, Tom?
I wasn't listening. I'm sorry.
There it is.
Listening or reading, huh? Listening or reading.
Manuel. What is it now?
It's abandoned property. The daughter thought the property was sold, but yet it's actually still in her deceased mother's name. So he wants to know, what can you do with that?
Well, you want to find out how many heirs were involved. Did Renika say that? I'm sorry, Manuel. But anyway, if y'all want to know what I was doing, the Indianapolis and
oh god,
and the Texans play tonight. I was putting my bet in. I'm sorry.
That's what we do.
Men in sports, ladies, we gotta figure something out. Men in sports is a different species.
I yes, I see it, but I'm not gonna say, well, what you doing over that time? I'm not gonna even call you out. You call yourself out.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. I'm sorry. Anyway, yeah, depending on how many heirs, if that daughter was the only only what you call them,
surviving beneficiary.
Yeah, then it's pretty simple, cut and dry in most cases. But if she has brothers and sisters, then they're players. They're decision makers if there was no will. And hopefully it's not a situation where she had brothers and sisters and one of them died and then they have kids. Now they're players. You know what I'm saying? So it can keep going on. So it just depends on what that chain of command is for, the number of heirs from the deceased or whatever. So
he said that he contacted the daughter, and the daughter said she thought the property was sold.
Oh well, yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
What do you do in that situation?
Oh, well, she thought it was sold, but it's not.
Right.
Then still go back to who, they got to go down the chain of command.
She's on the kid.
She's on the child.
We just gonna say she's on the child.
Well, then it's pretty simple. She sell it. They get her to sign some affidavits.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's how it works in Alabama. Let me just say that. I can't, you know what I'm saying?
That may vary state to state.
That may vary from state to state.
It may vary.
Yeah.
You want to know a funny story?
Tell it.
When I learned what the word very means,
It ain't what I just said.
It is what you said.
Oh.
It just made me think about it. I was in second grade, and yeah. I was
not second.
so remember, like I was doing my homework, right? So the teacher passed out the workbooks, and we're supposed to be doing the worksheet and the workbook, right? And so she accidentally gave me one of the teacher's handbooks. So the teacher had the answers in it, right? So she gave me a sheet of paper that she copied, and she sent me home with a workbook. So when I went back to school with my paper, I didn't finish all my.
Oh, you selling answers? You selling
cheater?
I didn't. First of all, I turned in all my paperwork. Anyway, she gave all my work back because I thought I was ahead of the game, and she gave me a 0. You know why?
Cheater.
Because on all the answers I put, the answer may vary.
Oh wow!
So I was just copying out of the teacher's book, and the teacher's handbook said that the children's answer may vary. Yeah. I thought that was the answer.
That's what you get. You learn 2 things there.
Learn 2 things.
No cheating.
Right. Learn it.
Vary my answer is what I learned.
Learn it.
Okay, so Makisha LaShawn is just getting started in this business, but she's also a truck driver. So I'm assuming from her question of what other ways are there for her to find houses when she's on the road, that she's on the road trucker. So maybe gone from her home city 3-4 days. So how would you suggest she getting to wholesaling? Does this go no different than when we're talking about virtual wholesaling or state to state, having someone
to help?
You have to have someone to help, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's it. And also on your off days, I don't know, I'm not for sure if you're driving 7 days a week, but on your off days, put out your bandit signs. And, since you, I guess, kind of have the time to answer your phone while you're driving, you'll be able to catch those calls.
And Makisha, are you on Facebook, the page, or in the group? Just out of curiosity, I want to see if there's a difference.
Right, the picture is popping up.
Yeah, pictures. Plus, it didn't on the other. Just says Facebook user. So we're trying to just figure out. Not that it mattered, but.
Daryl Cooper, I remember what I did in second grade because it wasn't that long ago. My birthday was the other day, but I didn't say how old I was. Wally Bibbins. Once I get both the buyer and seller contract signed, do I have to explain to the title company that I'm wholesaling, or would they know how to split the money and give me what's left over and all of that? And before you answer that, Makisha's on the actual, she says the page. I don't.
Yeah, she's on the page.
Yeah, she's on the page.
Okay.
She's on Facebook?
Yeah.
No, this is a good question. Most attorney would know, but when you do send it over, it won't hurt you to maybe write something in the body of the email, kind of showing him how to put this together, because you may want to do an assignment, you may want to do a double closing. So you want to kind of guide them on how you somewhat want to put it together, give them a call or email them and kind of guide them how you want to put that together. But usually they would know, but also let them know as well to make sure that your paperwork is right.
What was his name?
Wally.
Wally, you're in luck. You see this? Yeah, you can see it. You see that number there? All you have to do is text the word closing to this number, and you'll get access to my closing detail sheet. It's basically what she just said. It just gives them instructions on who's the seller, who's the buyer, the price, the address, what your assignment fee will be, the closing cost, and how that's being dispersed or paid, and your contact information. Boom.
Nice.
So
that's good. Everyone should text that number.
Yeah.
You definitely need that contract.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Okay. I know Instagram is logged off because you only get an hour of live feed time on there, but I'll go ahead and ask this question. That was the last one. How do I go about finding a good mentor, especially when just starting out? Now, this question was from out of New Jersey, but I think maybe this would be good for many of you that are just starting out. I know we often say local REIA meetings. How do you go about finding a good mentor? And I guess the difference is whether you want to pay for one or whether you
a good one is paid.
Yeah, I guess they're trying to talk about free mentors, but that's going to be one of your best places. Hopefully, you just have someone just out of the kindness of their heart to be able to spend time with you or whatever. So, if you're looking for that free option now, if you're looking for a paid option, then it's like asking Burger King, about McDonald's. That's part of what I do. Even though we provide all this information here, I do that. So I can't recommend anyone else. I'm not going to tell you to go to Crystal's or to Wendy's, McDonald's. So, hey, there it is. And I guess that's funny because people, I guess they don't know. I don't really talk about it because I don't like to push it. Because I got plenty of videos that do when we doing this. I don't really like to push it or whatever. Because this is supposed to be. It's supposed to be free. But since you asked the question, thank you, my brother. That's my brother Mobile. Okay. I'm just tripping, but you asked the question, I'm answering it for you, just like we try to do the rest of them. So,
personally, I think when you try to do this business, sometimes the free rides, a lot of free information, but you still don't know what you don't know, or you don't know what you do know. So it's okay to take that 1 or 2 time and just invest in yourself so you can get the right. And someone can really tell you this is exactly how to do it. This is a lot of information out there. It's like giving you a whole tool set. But if you don't know which tool to use on what you're doing, then you just got a whole bunch of tools. So be okay with investing in yourself. Be okay with paying a mentor for their time so you can learn this business. I paid over $150,000 in tuition to learn this business. So, someone saying $1,000 for 6 weeks or 2 months, and you can learn what I have learned and paid so much money for in that short amount of time with just that small investment in yourself. So look at it like that. Look at it as an investment in yourself when you're looking for a mentor. If you cannot find that person out of kindness of their heart to just take their time and mentor you for free.
Okay. Put that number back up there. I see several people someone says they need the last 4 digits of the number and what word to text. So I'm gonna read it out to you guys. So you text the word contract.
Closing. Closing. If they're trying to get that closing details.
Oh, you're trying to get the closing details list. Yeah. Okay. Text the word closing to 833-439-9632. And if you want the 1-page contract, then you text the word contract. So do both. Text the word contract and then text the word closing and get both. Now, put my Renikia back on the screen. Thank you. Question is for you, Renikia.
I like that,
Can you use unsecured funding for another business, or do you only have to use it for real estate investing? So maybe I know we briefly mentioned what your company does, but I know we mentioned unsecured funding. So is there a difference? I'm not even aware. Is that possible? Is it just
absolutely? A good question, Lex. Absolutely. Unsecured funding is not collateralized by any asset. Therefore, you can use it however you want to use it. You can use it to start a business. You can use it to fund a down payment to your fix and flip. You can use it to fund the marketing to your wholesaling business. It's unsecured funding. It's not collateralized by anything.
Okay. So now that Lex knows that he can use it for a business, what are the steps? What does he need to do? And I know we do it at the top of the hour, but we're closing near the bottom of the hour. How do they go about utilizing services provided by your company?
Yes. If you want to leverage your credit to maximize the credit and monies that you can to invest into your business or your investment properties, go to fundmynextdeal.com. That will bring you to our website where you can input your information for an instant approval for our unsecured gap funding program.
All right. Ms. Renikia is available across all social media platforms right there on your screen. Those of you who are left, Facebook and YouTube, you can see Facebook is Renikia Williams. Make sure you spell that correctly. Instagram is Renique, and emailing is funding@fkfinancials.com. I'm supposed to promote Quan's drip. Quan is dripping. Flipman, promote my drip. He dripping. I don't know.
Nah.
Don't even know what that means.
He must just close a whole wholesale deal.
So without further ado, we've been here for an hour, but I want you all to know that we will be here next. No. Whoa.
Oh, next. Oh.
That's turkey. Oh, anybody say no, ma'am.
I'll
No,
be
sir.
popping some tongues by then.
Right. It's the day of thanks.
Long Gone says it says error when you text the word closing. So
I think that's what it is.
Oh.
Yeah, that's I'm pretty sure. Hold on, I take.
We're gonna try it right now. But while Ty is trying,
some cell phones.
Everyone flood the inbox right now and tell Adrian happy birthday.
It's closed. It's closed. It's closed.
No.
It's not closing. It's closed. It's CLOSE. It's closed.
JK.
And I love Manuel. He says, I'm texting closing. I don't even know what I'm trying to obtain. I'm just doing it.
You want it. I'm telling you, you want that. You want it.
Everyone for the birthday wishes, belated. However, I'm very thankful. I've lived a whole nother year on this earth. I have a lot more things to do for the next birthday.
All attitude to have, baby.
Yeah.
Yes. Life is precious.
Yeah, if you had to talk
more valuable than money.
Whoa. Okay. I had to think about it. You're right. You're right. You're right. I was no, now if you had to ask me on my birthday how I felt about all this, I probably
I need that money.
Fundmynextdeal.com. That's right. You got it, Derek Cooper. That's the website. You actually have to go to the website. You're welcome, Manuel. So all else close works after yes confirmation. Yes, you will have to submit a yes, YES, to confirm that you want to receive the contract or either the closing details sheet. We will not be here next Thursday because it is Thanksgiving, and for whatever you do or you don't celebrate, just take the opportunity in the day to be with family and friends. And if neither one of those for you, go get you some Black Friday deals and spend a little money because I'm speaking it to existence. You're gonna get you a wholesaling check. So go ahead and spend. No, don't spend the money before you get the money. I'm being the worst right today. But we will be Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. Central time. This is the place where you come and ask your questions. And as Ty had on the screen earlier, you can continue to ask questions even when we're not here. Ty will come back and answer them. I'm sorry. Just keep in mind that he might direct you to the 370 plus videos that are available to you on YouTube in your wholesaling journey. Like, there's no reason, if this is what you want to do, don't wait till January 1st. Don't wait till December 1st. Like, I'm waiting to start my diet after Thanksgiving, but go ahead and start today. You got anything, Ty?
Oh, we're good.
We good. And we do like your toys, Ty. They're nice.
Oh, yeah.
They're really cute.
It is. Amazing.
On the flip side, 2 weeks from now. 2 weeks out.
All right.
We're out.
From 2nd of December.
That's right.
Flip man, it's the flip man. You want some money in your hand? Flipping houses without credit or your cash. Get that bag.
All right,